I don't think that was passive aggressive. I think you're just asshole aggressive there, and that's just.
Oh, I'm aggressive.
Yeah, you're.
I don't
asshole
deny
aggressive.
it. I think we've come on to a new term, not asshole aggressive, just passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive. The T-shirts are ordered; they'll be on sale eventually. Passive aggressive.
Let's do it. I like it.
PFTPM. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Picks podcast delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza. Also, I think we do. I think you're onto something. I think we between some of your sayings and like things that we talk about and my Simsisms and stuff, maybe I think it might be time to, get some gear out there into the world, like some PFT. You got enough money? Start. These doesn't take it. That's not that expensive to get this done. Get it done. Expand your brand. Let's make it cool. Let's get the kids and everybody wearing T-shirts and stuff of our stupid shit we say.
Moment earlier today on PFT Live, the show you used to do.
Yeah.
And it started with Jerry Jones landing his helicopter on the practice field, and I asked Devin McCourty if RKK had a helicopter, and he said, yeah, but he had a helicopter pad. And I said, with Jerry Jones, the world is your helicopter pad. So Devin said, the world is my helicopter pad, needs to be a T-shirt. So we're getting there.
There, that's
we're
what I
working
mean.
on it.
All right, work on it. And then I like your shirt today. I mean, how dare you wear that? But okay, fine. I feel like you shouldn't be able to wear that. They're an old NFC North rival of the Vikings. I mean, I played for that team. I mean, that should only be copyrighted for me to wear from time to time. You should not be able to wear Bucs gear.
First of all, I can be bought because when people send me stuff, I wear it. Second of all, my rule, closest and the cleanest. Not necessarily the cleanest, but definitely the closest this morning as I was rushing it up here. And third, I wore it for PFT Live. I went downstairs, and you've been married a long time when the first thing out of your wife's mouth isn't good morning, honey, but you wore that.
Yeah,
so
yes. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
Well done.
So not that we had to be married very long for her to greet me that way, but I guess I gave her a reason. And I thought about changing, but I just decided, screw it. Yeah. We're having fun. It's football. It's not serious. And let's talk some football. And let's talk about how things went last week. Yes. 11-5. There I am. I'm still in the dark. That's from the moment that I was in the wrong spot on the Week 2 Friday night game between the Eagles and the Packers in Brazil. I was 11-5. Chris is 8-8. Oh, I extended by 3 games there.
Yeah.
3 games against the spread. Are we going to have to stop the fight?
No,
4 weeks
we're
in?
Not. They're not. But I'm embarrassed.
Straight up.
I don't know what my picks. I was telling family last night. I'm like, I'm struggling with picks more than I ever can remember. I sat down the last 2 nights and wrote notes on the games. Like, I'm determined to flip it around. So hopefully this can start it right here. We'll see.
You're only going to make it worse.
Maybe.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I don't know about that.
This is one of the things I've noticed as I paid attention to some of the, the so-called experts out there who tell you what you should bet on. You can come up with any reason to support any position on any bet. You can find a stat to support this side. You can find a stat to support that side. There's no amount of analysis or thought that is better than, I don't know why I'm telling you this because it's only going to make you better. That's better than your gut feeling, because when you live it all the time, you carry it around all the time, you just sit down and you go, give me 2 teams, here's the score. Give me 2 teams, here's the score. It's the culmination of what you think about all the time. You're overthinking it. You're definitely overthinking it.
Probably.
I'll tell you what I did.
Yeah.
What I did this morning, finished the show, got a cup of coffee, got a piece of toast or 2.
Right.
Copy, paste, snarky comment, posted a story, about 20-10. All right, let's look at the games. Yeah. All right, boom. Score.
All right, good. That means I'm going to whoop your ass this week, so go ahead.
All right, okay.
Let's go.
That's how I do it every week.
Good.
And who's whipping whose ass,
yeah,
bucko?
We'll see. We're going to change now. It's going to change. Let's all go. Come on, let's go.
All right, by the way, every week this season, you can play along with us. DraftKings has set up the free $1,000 Florio and Sims Pick'em Pool. Pick every game against the spread for a chance at a $1,000 prize pool every week.
Download the DraftKings app, click on the Pools tab, and enter the Florio and Sims free $1,000 Pick'em Pool to make your picks.
Just like us, you must enter all your picks before kickoff of the first game of the week on Thursday night. Doesn't matter if you don't know the full injury reports. Doesn't matter if something unexpected happened. You got to lock them all in by Thursday night. And by the way, even though I'm 37-25 against the spread, which is pretty damn good, I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. Anybody who acts like they know what they're doing is just lucky and they think they're good. Over time, it all evens out, which means the house wins. So keep that in mind. Only bet money you can afford to lose. But this pick 'em pool is free, and there's a $1,000 pool every week. So have some fun, enjoy the games, and be smart with your money. Okay, let's see how smart we are. There are 4 buys this week. Lions, Eagles, Chargers, and Titans are off. Thursday Night Football features my Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins. 4th home game already for the Falcons. Matt Ryan's going into the Ring of Honor tonight. 1.5-point favorites are the Falcons with an over-under of 43.5. Who you got?
Well, my big thing is can Atlanta run the ball on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? That's the question for me in this game. And I look at it and kind of just go, Tampa can stop the run. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so then I flip it over and go, wait, can they pass the ball against Tampa Bay? And I go, yeah, to a degree, they might be efficient, but I don't think the offense for the Atlanta Falcons, and especially the passing game, is explosive enough. One, you don't have a quarterback that has an explosive arm, and really, nobody else is really explosive on their wide receiving core. I mean, there's really just Darnell Mooney. He's the only guy that scares you down the field, and I don't even know if Kirk Cousins is the guy to be able to take advantage of some of his talents there. So I think that favors the Bucs. The Bucs are a team that will play man. We know they're not afraid to crowd the line of scrimmage and do that. And then on the opposite side of the ball, hey, I like Atlanta's defense definitely, and I think they're going to give up a good fight here tonight. But I think ultimately I'm just going to go with the Bucs here because I think they got a few more playmakers. I think Baker Mayfield's got the hot hand. They got a little more balance on offense altogether and a more explosive ability. I'm going to go Bucs 24-20 on the road.
The Falcons are a fascinating team.
Yeah, they're tough to figure.
They could be 4-0. They could be 0-4.
Yeah, they could.
The 2 games they lost, they could have won. The 2 games they won, they should have lost.
Agreed.
They were outplayed by the Saints, and they should have lost.
And the Eagles.
They should have lost to the Eagles. The Eagles gave it to them. The Eagles let them off the hook.
Right.
So I don't know what the Falcons really are. I think the Buccaneers are a really good team that stepped on a rake week 3 against the Broncos and quickly shook it off and manhandled the Philadelphia defense. Talk about the Buccaneers offense. I mean, look how good the Eagles defense was against the Saints, and look at what the Buccaneers did to them. And I know the heat was probably a factor, but still, the Buccaneers seem to be the it team in the NFC South this year, if not in the entire conference. I believe in the Buccaneers tonight. I know that the Falcons understand the magnitude of the moment, divisional game. It's a big swing, but it is for the Bucs too. If they lose, they're 3-2, and the Falcons are 3-2. If they win, it's 4-1 versus 2-3, and all you got to worry about is the Saints at that point. As a practical matter, I think the Bucs continue their early season success. I'm surprised the Falcons are favored. The Buccaneers will definitely use that as a little extra motivation, because they seize on anything they can. They're thinking they should be favored in this game. I think they win 27-20.
Yeah, I hear you there. All right, let's go. Next one.
All right. Sunday morning.
Can't wait.
Bright and early, 9:30 a.m. The New York Jets and their cadence issue, which is not a cadence issue.
Sounds like they're going to London.
It's a cadence issue. They are going to London, and they're taking on the Vikings. The Vikings, the technical home team, 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 40. I've picked both the Jets and the Vikings against the spread every game this year, so something has to give. I'm sure you want me to start.
Of course.
Here's the problem. I don't know which Jets team is going to show up. And Devin McCourty made a great point. They beat the Patriots on the Thursday night 2 weeks ago. And Aaron Rodgers looks like MVP Aaron Rodgers. And they turn around on a short week and they're ready to go. Robert Saleh gets no credit for that. Getting them ready to play their third game between September 9 and September 19. Big win. No credit for Saleh. They get 10 days to get ready for the Broncos, and they shit the bed, and it's all Saleh's fault. So it's just weird how the Jets have developed into an up-and-down Jekyll and Hyde team. And with Aaron Rodgers, he goes from MVP to AARP, back and forth. And so how can you trust them? When can you believe that the good Jets are going to show up? And meanwhile, It's been good Vikings every single week. And even when the Vikings try to hand the game over to the 49ers or the Packers and blow a multi-score lead, the Vikings still figure out a way to slam the door. So, look, I won't be shocked if the Jets win because maybe MVP Aaron Rodgers shows up and just plays lights out. But how do you not go with a team that's 4-0, going into their bye week on the back end, showdown with the Lions after that? I got the Vikings 24-17.
Okay, yeah. I listen, I mean, it's going to be a good one. There's no doubt about that. I mean, this is one of the games of the weekend, 100%. I mean, the Jets struggled last week, right? Aaron Rodgers didn't play good. I broke it down on my Wednesday podcast in depth. There is an issue with him and Garrett Wilson. There definitely is. If I was Garrett Wilson, I'd go, wait, he doesn't like me. I was open a lot. He didn't even look at me. There's definitely something there, right? Rodgers still has some of the problems we've talked about. When the short passing game is taken away or anything like that, he does not want to throw the ball down the field. He doesn't want to hold the ball. So, yes, that's a little scary. But I think we're going to see a better Aaron Rodgers because of all those things we just said, and they were glaring last week. And they're going to be a little bit of a desperate football team because you're oh, wait, we're 2-3. We know the Vikings are the best team in football right now. There's no question about that. I think I'd put them in front of anybody. In fact, I wanted to make fun of you. Yeah. You putting them at number 3, it was a disgrace. A disgrace. Hey, I can't even believe that.
Do the show on Wednesday, and you can. But you don't do the show on Wednesday anymore, so shut up. You don't get a vote in that anymore.
Yeah, I never had a vote in it. And it's ridiculous. They've played the best, and you've made them 3rd. I don't even understand that. But either way, all right, but here's the matchup and where it concerns me for your Vikings, okay? Your Vikings defense is statistically lets up a lot of yards, right? Your Vikings defense does not play man-to-man. It's either blitz or drop out in a zone a lot of the time. That's right up Aaron Rodgers' wheelhouse. That short, quick passing game, I think, is going to be a very much of an issue for the Vikings here because now it's who cares about the blitz or if it's going to be a blitz. I'm throwing it quick and I'm dissecting anyways. So I think there's a little advantage there for the Jets in this matchup to be had against the Vikings. And of course, I think the Jets' defense is really good. I'm going with the Jets in the upset in London here. I am.
Wow.
I think they're desperate.
Wow.
I think they've heard a lot of crap up here this week, and I think there's in a lot of ways they match up pretty damn good with the Minnesota Vikings, and they got a guy that can match up with Justin Jefferson and Sauce Gardner, 24-21 Jets.
You know, the Jets need this one because they got the Bills and the Steelers. They got 3 straight standalone games that everyone can watch their dysfunction. And I don't know that this Devontae Adams talk helps them. One of those receivers is going to be the odd man out if Adams comes in.
Well, no, Garrett Wilson's already pissed off. You bring him in, what do you think's going to happen?
It's a mess.
Exactly.
It's a mess.
I don't think it's good for them, but we'll see where that goes.
All right, Sunday, Panthers at the Bears. The Bears have Caleb Williams, thanks to the Panthers. Andy Dalton playing quarterback, who was QB1 for a short period of time with the Chicago Bears before Justin Fields took over. Bears are favored by 4. Neither of us have picked Carolina to win yet this season, which is not really a shock. Do the Bears get to 3-0 at home? Caleb Williams, the first quarterback taken number 1 overall in the common draft to be 2-0 at home to start his career. Does he get to 3-0 and the Bears to 3-2?
Yeah, this is. I mean, hey, it's a close football game here, and that's the way at least I say it. I'm going to go with the Bears to win it. I am. I think my big thing here is, I mean, the Bears are a defensive football team. They got studs all over that side of the ball. We've seen them really make every offense they play this year struggle. Matt Stafford, C.J. Stroud only scored 19 points. So they're real on that side of the ball. And I don't think the Carolina Panthers have enough weapons on offense to really stress them out. Carolina's O-line is good. There's no doubt. I don't know if I'm ready to call them a force in the running game and all that. But, yeah, that's where the Bears, I think, do have an advantage. And it's the second week the Bears receivers are all going to be healthy together, right? So I look at that and I go, the Bears started to run the ball last week, and I think there's enough there and enough on the offense versus a Carolina D that's not very good and has no superstars or studs on their defense without Derek Brown in there. So, yeah, I'm going Bears at home, 23-20, Mike.
Bears discovered the running game a little bit last week. Offense getting a little better. There was a report on Sunday morning from Jay Glazer, who's known Mercedes Lewis, the Bears tight end, forever. And Mercedes Lewis went on the record saying that he, Cole Kmet, and Caleb Williams went to offensive coordinator Shane Waldron and said, you got to coach us. This isn't Pop Warner. You got to coach us. We need that. and something clicked, something worked. Even though it felt like for a while the Rams were going to pull off the win at Soldier Field, the Bears got the victory. And for as, I don't want to say poor, but let's say below expectations going into the season they've played this year, they're 2-2.
Right.
They're in position.
Yep.
You know, those wins in September are money in the bank. And they got more in the bank than we thought they were going to have when the month ended. So they get their chance to get above 500 and make things interesting.
That's
in the
glaring,
NFC North.
Mike. I mean, I know you've heard me say it, right? We talked about it almost every week. The Bears offense doesn't do much. There's not much there to advantages to be had, all of that. When the players go to the offensive coordinator to say that, that means they think and see what Chris Sims said times 10. I mean, that's what they're saying. I mean, that doesn't happen unless it's like, wait, what the hell are we doing? I played in the NFL. It's never been like this. What are these plays? What are we doing? I mean, that's a little concerning. So hopefully the success continues from last week.
I've already got Bears fans saying, hey, how about Cliff Kingsbury as the head coach next year? That's how badly it's gone on offense for the Bears. But they're in the midst of, hopefully, for them, turning it around.
Yeah.
Ravens at the Bengals. Ravens have turned. Oh, my score. Sorry.
Let's go, man. I mean,
I got to give a score.
Yeah, of course.
I've got the Bears. The Bears 30-21.
I got. You good? You got it now?
Are you done?
You ready? You ready for the next game and the picks?
At high level comedy. So you actually picked the Panthers to cover.
Yeah, it was a little too much.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I am.
All right, 4 points too much? Okay.
A little too much.
All right, we'll see how that goes.
All right.
My score is 31-20 or 30-21. Let me check it again. 30-21, Bears over the Panthers.
All right.
Okay. Ravens at the Bengals.
Whoa.
This is a massive game. You look at this one and say, and Devin McCourty said this earlier down PFT Live, why is this at 1 o'clock Eastern? This feels like a more significant game than a 1 o'clock kickoff, especially with the stakes here. Ravens start 0-2, they win 2 in a row. Bengals start 0-3, they beat the Panthers. The Bengals defense, not good. Ravens offense, ground and pound some more. Ravens are favored 2.5. They're just one of 3 road favorites this week with an over-under of 49. Do the Bengals get to 2-3 and drag the Ravens down to that same record?
The Ravens got it going on 0. They finally have a calling card again, and it's called "We whoop your ass right up the fucking middle" in the run game. That's what it is. And then when you overplay that
fit on the card.
Yeah, that will.
That's another
put that on the
T-shirt
too. I think. And then
we whip your
when
ass,
you load the box,
I think the front would be "We whip your ass," and the rest would be on the back.
Yeah, that's right. And then when you overplay that, they fucking toss it outside or do something and Lamar jacks it out on the edge. Sorry, I'm on a roll here, okay? So they got it going. And I know everybody, the Bengals can't stop the run. No, they can't stop it. Now, B.J. Hill might be back this week, which could be good for them, certainly. But it doesn't make me feel all that better. This is an issue. This could be the week where we see the 350-yard passing game for Lamar. Because I think the Bengals are stuck in a spot where they're going to go, We're if we don't stop the run, we're definitely going to lose. So let's see if we can stop the run and then maybe pull it out with Lamar in the passing game, and maybe they make a mistake. That's kind of how I look at it. And I think that also, Lamar has a good day, and then Joe Burrow and company, I know they're going to keep pace. Their offense is rolling too. But I just think ultimately it's the Ravens are a little bit better of a football team, and what they got going on that offensive side of the ball, I think, is going to put defenses in a bind as long as they stay serious with that run game. I'm going Ravens 34-28.
All right, we are very much aligned in our thought. I got 31-27 Ravens, and I know we're kind of skewing toward higher scores, but we've seen some higher scores now.
Yes.
The offenses have settled in.
Right.
The first month of the regular season, which is basically an extension of the preseason, is over, and we're seeing teams scoring more points. And I think the Bengals know they're going to have to score a shitload of points to have a chance here. Joe Burrow made that point earlier in the week. He needs to play damn near perfect on offense because they're going to have a hard time with the Ravens defense or Ravens offense. It's becoming pick your poison. And you're right. This could be the week that the Ravens sell out to stop the run and they spot the opportunities to get the ball down the field. And those receivers have, some catches this week instead of like one here or one there. The numbers last week were embarrassing for the passing game, but if you don't need to do it, if they can't stop your running game, you just keep running. Okay, Next game, the Colts 2-2, the Jaguars. Oh, wait, I missed one. I skipped one. Sorry. Another compelling game for 1 o'clock Eastern. The Bills at the Texans. The Stefon Diggs, second time this year he's playing one of his former teams. Buffalo is favored by 1 point. They got blown off the field by the Ravens, but they're otherwise undefeated. The Texans at 3-1 as well. I'm a little surprised the Bills are favored, but again, they're favored by 1, 47.5. Bills, Texans, who you got?
Well, the biggest thing here right now that is like the Bills have an advantage and the Texans are maybe not capitalizing to the capacity we thought they would. The Bills' offense scores a lot of points, and their defense does not allow a lot of points, right? The Texans on offense, they gain more yards than the Buffalo offense, but they don't score a lot of points. And it's kind of the same thing with their defense. They let up less yards than Buffalo, but they do let up some points there. And that's always scary with Josh Allen at quarterback, because Josh Allen is the ultimate, hey, my stats weren't that good, but there was 4 plays to be had to have an explosive play or a touchdown today, and I was 4 for 4, and you're down 28, right? That's where they're amazing. Josh Allen is always scary that way. But I do think that the Texans are the better football team through and through. I think the Texans need to run the ball better, and if they can do that a little bit, like we saw last week, Buffalo is compromised in that type of game. It's when they get overpowered a little bit up front, they have issues. They're not a very good man-to-man football team, so they don't want to do that, and that will stress them out. I think the Texans get back to running the ball a little bit this week, but just enough to where it opens up their pass game. That's the big thing there. And with Buffalo, yeah, it's Josh Allen. And yes, they're more physical and they can run and do all that. But I don't look at this and go, oh, yeah, this is the week they're just going to overrun the Texans and get 150 yards rushing. No way. Let alone they have the speed in the front seven to corral Josh Allen and do that. I'm not a believer in the overall Buffalo offense yet. So I'm going to go Texans 30-27 here.
What a shock. What a shock. You hate the Bills. Why do you hate the Bills? I get that question all the time. Why does Chris hate the Bills?
You know that's not the truth, and you know one of my favorite players in the history of football is Josh Allen. So, but yes, I'm not believing in them totally as a team here right yet.
I look at the Texans and choose my words carefully here. And I had this realization the morning of the Texans-Vikings game after we had already made our picks, and I really wasn't sure whether it was wise and prudent to pick the Vikings to win the game. And the Vikings were underdogs in that game. And I started thinking about last year for the Texans. It's not like they were a team that beat a bunch of great teams. They took care of their business. They went 10-7. They won the games they were supposed to win. They lost the games, for the most part, they were supposed to lose. They haven't really done anything yet, signature victory style, that makes you say this is team that shows up and prevails against an elite team. They'll handle, and hey, it's hard to do because they're still NFL teams. They'll handle the teams they're supposed to handle. And so I look at this one as another example, and this is part of the growth that we either are or aren't going to see from C.J. Stroud. Is he going to become guy who can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen? This is his chance to go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen. He was asked about it yesterday, and he just kind of downplayed the whole thing. I compete, all the cliches, I'm competing against myself. I think you need to have a sense of the moment, and you need to have a sense that this is a preview of the way that paths can cross in the postseason.
Sure.
And so I just, until I see the Texans do it,
yeah,
you're gonna go
with the other guy
toward the team that we've seen do it. Now I'm concerned. Khalil Shakir has an ankle injury and he didn't practice on Wednesday. And look, Nico Collins has 489 receiving yards. He's on pace to set the single season record. We still got 13 games to go. Still, Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud, a great connection. They're going to have to do something defensively. Von Miller's suspended for 4 games. Even though he's only taken 35% of the snaps, he's got 3 sacks in 4 games. They use him in the right spots, and he's effective when he's on the field, and he's gone for the next 4 weeks for a personal conduct policy violation. So I'm a little nervous about it. I think the fact that the Bills got embarrassed in primetime last week, and remember we were like, why is Josh Allen sitting? They lacked urgency. How the fuck do you not have urgency when you're going in to face a desperate Baltimore team in their own building? They'll have the urgency on Sunday. The Bills will have the urgency,
No
and
doubt.
I think the Bills will win the game by the score of 27-24. Could go either way. I'm not, this is not going to be a best bet. Not that it matters because our best bets are ass this year, but I'm not going to have the kind of faith necessary, but I do think the Bills win the game and get to 4-1.
Yeah, listen, I hear what you say about C.J. Stroud and the Texans and all of that. There's a part of me too that, again, the Bills, I know they're 3-1 and they were impressive in some of them, but I also am going, well, okay, the Dolphins have showed zero fight. Like if it's not a track meet, they don't even want to play football. And then, okay, Jacksonville is arguably the most dysfunctional team in football right now too. So that's where I'm a little unsure of the Bills a little bit here. And I look at the Bills and go, yeah, they want to run the ball and the Khalil Shakir thing and all that. Houston keeps a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. Houston can play man-to-man. That's what's different about them too, and that's where I think they got a little bit of an advantage here. And the Von Miller thing certainly went into my thinking as well, that they're not going to be able to pressure Stroud the way they want to, and the way they play zones, it's just going to have too much time. But I'm scared, and I'm with you, and it won't be my best bet, I don't think. That's for sure.
Stefon Diggs had 10
and
catches
he's got
for 94
that too.
yards
Yes.
in his game against the Vikings, even though the final score was 34-7. Diggs is going to be ready to go.
No doubt.
Look, I don't know who's to blame for what happened between Diggs and the Bills. There's a hashtag long read on ESPN.com that goes inside the divorce between the Bills and Diggs. There's nothing in there that we didn't already know, and there's no magical answer in there. It goes both ways, and there's enough there for Diggs to get himself motivated and ready to go, and he will be, and maybe he'll be the difference in the game. I don't know. I still feel like the Bills are the team that is better suited for moments like this. The Texans have to prove that they are before I'll believe that they can do it on a regular basis. Now we move on to the Colts and the Jaguars. And are my eyes deceiving me? The Jaguars are favored by 3 points against the Colts, who just toppled the previously unbeaten Steelers. And the Jaguars, I know they had a chance to beat the Texans, but they didn't, and they got embarrassed by the Bills. I'm surprised to see the Jaguars favored in this one. You could argue they're due to get a win, and maybe they are. We'll see. They go to London for a couple of games after this one. Doug Peterson, has he lost the team? They asked him yesterday, and he said no. What else is he going to say? What do you think happens with the Jaguars and the Colts?
Right, and it's one of those weird things where the Colts go down there, and for whatever reason, they always play well, right? It doesn't matter who's coaching, whatever. It's one of those like phenomenons that we see every now and then. It's two bad defenses. The two worst defenses, two of the top, bottom 3 or 4 defenses in football. I think I'm somewhat in the range there. They're at the bottom of the list. That's all I could tell you. So that of course, is concerning and tells you, wait, I don't know where this game's going to go. And I go to a basic level of like, listen, I know Jacksonville's desperate, but they've been desperate. And there's 3 times this year you could go, oh, they could have pulled it out, like you said, but they don't. They don't. So they have a little bit of like the disease of, we're going to fuck it up somehow, some way. We're going to do it. We'll do that. And bottom line is, with the things going on in Jacksonville, the talk, Trevor Lawrence did not play good last week. Doug Peterson, when he was after the game and said, the players got to make some plays, he was talking about Trevor Lawrence. After watching that film back yesterday, there's no doubt that's who he was talking about. There was 5 or 6 throws in that game where you go, our $55 million a year quarterback has to hit that, and that jumpstarts us, and then we win a game, and it jumpstarts our organization. I have more faith in Shane Steichen. When it's a game of bad defenses, I have more faith in Shane Steichen. I don't give a damn if it's Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco. The Colts can run the ball, they can protect the passer, and they'll find ways to throw the ball against this bad Jacksonville defense. I'm going the Colts 28-21.
This is one of those weird situations where you've got an injured starting quarterback, and for me, it doesn't matter whether it's Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco, and that's credit to the Colts and Chris Ballard. You look at the Dolphins and what they're dealing with because they didn't have an established veteran presence behind Tua Tagovailoa, and they should have. The Colts got Joe Flacco. I have no concern for any drop-off. It's going to look different, but I have no concern for any drop-off from Anthony Richardson to Joe Flacco. You got Jonathan Taylor running the ball well. And I just, hey, bottom line, yeah, the Jaguars can get their act together. Yeah, they can take the dysfunction and turn it into functionality. what have we seen to make us think it's going to happen, though? In the aftermath of a game where they almost beat the Texans, that's where we started getting these crazy comments about, hey, don't blame us, blame the players, or words to that effect. And just this sense that it's starting to fall apart for the Jaguars, and they've got this 2-game road trip coming up, and Trevor Lawrence has said before he's not a big fan of being gone for all that long. I think that the Jaguars get the win. I'm going to pick it closer than you did, 24-21.
You're saying the Jaguars or the Colts?
No, the Colts. I
do
this all the time. The Colts. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me. The Colts. My hand was still on the checker. The Colts win the game 24-21. And if it ends up being another ugly mess, maybe Doug Peterson doesn't get on the plane to London. Maybe.
I listen. I hear you. I think it's a little too early for that, but it's certainly, we're getting close to pressing the alarm button and going, hey, we got to have a serious, organizational conversation. We haven't won a regular season game, and what is it now? 13 games in a row, 12.
They're 1-9 in the last 10.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. 10. So yeah,
all right.
Those talks are going to happen, no doubt.
Dolphins Patriots. Fox has the game. They could have sent Tommy to Foxborough for Dolphins Patriots, but he doesn't want that.
He said the hell with that crap.
He's taking Cardinals 49ers instead. I'm not going to go watch crap versus crap. And
right.
That's really what the two offenses are. Tyler Huntley versus Jacoby Brissett. It's just a matter of time before it's Drake May. Just a matter of time before it's Tua again. Something's got to give. Something's got to give in this one.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, ugly game. It's in New England, all right? And I think the biggest thing is the Dolphins are in shell shock. They're in shell shock. They have not recovered. They're still wobbly from the Tua injury. They are. And you talked about it. I mean, that's an offense with a lot of motion and movement and all that stuff, and that's where a veteran guy certainly helps. And I know they got unlucky with Skylar Thompson because he would have been that guy. And I think it's an easier transition, and he would have been better running the offense because he knows it more. But, yeah, they're in a tough spot. I got to see it to believe it before I pick the Miami Dolphins. Ugly defensive game up in New England. That seems right up New England's way with Jacoby Brissett and Gerard Mayo. 17-14 Pats.
Yeah, I had 17-10. I think 16-9 just feels better. More field goals, fewer touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, this is one of those weeks that I wish you did more than Monday because we could have sunk our teeth into the whole Tyreek Hill frustration versus motivating his teammates and how poorly they handled the quarterback position. And now you got a guy who was a Pro Bowler, asterisk, once upon a time, but he's only been there a couple of weeks. It's not enough. Patriots get a rare win. This is one where, when you look at the Patriots' schedule, if you don't win this one, there may not be many more lurking. Patriots get it 16-9. All right, and by the way, you've yet to pick New England to win this season. Now you have. Browns-Commanders to wrap up the 1 o'clock slate. Commanders are favored by 3.5. This game fascinates me for one big reason. I talked about it earlier today on PFT Live. You've got Jaden Daniels versus the guy who was Jaden Daniels 7 years ago. That's what Deshaun Watson was.
Right.
Superstar out of the gates. MVP candidate, not just Offensive Rookie of the Year, until the ACL tear happened. And you got Jaden Daniels, who's taking a lot of hits. A lot of Commanders fans, shades of RG3, shades of Deshaun Watson, too. Got to be careful with his body, but so far he's been spectacular. Do the Commanders get to what would be an unthinkable 4-1 against the Browns on Sunday, Chris? They're favored by 3.5 at home.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns, that's a big one. We know that. But Washington's rolling right now on offense. They are. And we know Cleveland likes to play an aggressive D and blitz and play man-to-man. Jaden Daniels, they have a great, quick, short passing game. He knows where to go with the ball. They can run the ball. The Browns have had issues as far as that's concerned. So I think there's, a thought for me that, hey, I think they can handle the Browns' aggressive D blitz. It does scare me a little bit, but I think they're built for it. And the offensive line's been a pleasant surprise there. And I think the running game certainly will calm down the blitzing a little bit from that Browns defense. Now, the other side of the ball, I have no faith in the Browns offense. None. And Washington's defense has also been a pleasant surprise. They're not super talented in the secondary. There's one thing that I guess scares me a little bit. I'm picking Washington, but the Browns will get a few shots to just throw it up to Amari Cooper or Jerry Jeudy one-on-one during this game. And if they capitalize on those and ends up a touchdown, we're going to be in a tight one, or maybe they can pull off the upset. But another point where I'm going to go, I don't trust the Browns. I don't think Deshaun Watson's any good. I'm going Commanders 20-17.
Hey, look, this is a hell of an opportunity for Amari Cooper to maybe get the Commanders interested in trading for Amari Cooper because the Commanders could be buyers and the Browns could be sellers as the deadline approaches. And Cooper's been traded before by the Raiders to the Cowboys and by the Cowboys to the Browns. It wasn't an in-season trade. So I don't rule out anything there, and it's extra motivation for Cooper to have a big game. I still think that the Commanders win. I'm going 31-21. You picked the Browns to cover by a half point.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders cover. I think that they have that magic right now. The fact that they went to Arizona and did what they did to the Cardinals, the Browns are falling apart. I mean, the Browns lost to the Raiders. Raiders team mired in dysfunction right now with no Max Crosby, the Devontae Adams stuff.
And one of their touchdowns was a picked-up fumble return. I mean, I mean, they scare me. They scare me.
All right, I got the Commanders covering 31-21. Let's take a break. When we return, Sunday late afternoon games here on the joint production of Chris Sims Unbuttoned and PFTPM. We'll be right back. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. And please bet responsibly, only with money that you can afford to lose, because chances are you will. I keep adding a little bit more to the end of that.
I don't know. You're so great.
I don't know if they appreciate it, but I am a proponent of responsible betting because my dad, the bookie, told me when I was a kid, you can't win. So you have to go into it knowing you're probably not going to win. You can still have fun with it.
You can win.
It's not going to change your life.
We won against the spread last year. We won. We've won every year versus the spread. I don't like your talk. I like positivity. You can win. I'm going to win this week.
We're not betting money on it.
I'm going to beat
your
ass.
We're not betting money.
I know.
I've never bet on football.
It's as valuable as money. I have bet on football before, and I've had some moments of being way, way up, right? Like way, way up. When I first year out of the NFL, I'll give you a good story. First year out of the NFL, I have a rich friend, right, who loves to gamble, of course, and thousands of dollars every week on games, probably tens of thousands, honestly. I don't even know how much. I'm afraid to ask him because it would make me feel bad about myself. But either way, he would go, give me one game a week, right? And I'll give you 10% of the earnings. So my first year out, I went through a run of, I was like 15-2, right? For games. In a few weeks, I might have picked 1 or 2 games, whatever. But I was up like $15,000, right? Something like that. It was crazy. I got to a playoff game, and I was like, let it all ride on this game. And I can't remember what it is. It'll hit me in a second. And it all ended up like the team I picked looked great, and they blew it late in the game and blew the lead and blew the spread, and I lost all the money. And I was like, well, there's gambling for you.
There you go. You're proving the point.
I know.
You're proving the point.
I know.
All right.
I wouldn't have done it if it was my money, is what I would have said. I wouldn't have bet the house. That's what I was going to say.
Sunday afternoon late games, Raiders at the Broncos. Broncos are favored by 2.5. Max Crosby has vowed that he will be back. Bo Nix has not been great, but the defense sure has been the past couple of weeks for the Broncos as they've gotten to 2-2. Lowest over under the week at 36. Neither of us have picked Denver to win yet this season. Do you believe in the Broncos at home against the Raiders, Chris?
I do. Again, this is the kind of games they can win. I don't expect it to be a high-scoring fest here, right? It's going to be a defensive struggle. That's what they're built to be right now. They hung in there with the Steelers in that type of game, right? They, of course, beat the Jets in that type of game last week. Mike, you said it. I did a deep dive into this week. The Broncos' defense is awesome. They're fun to watch. They got 2 pretty good pass rushers on both sides of the ball in Bonito and Cooper. But the biggest thing with the Broncos, they arguably have the best secondary in football. It is legit. McMillan at nickelback's awesome. Surtain might be the best corner in football, right? Riley Moss, the second-year kid from Iowa, was good. P.J. Locke. So they're stacked there. I don't have enough faith in the Raiders' offense without a Devontae Adams to do anything on that side of the ball. I think that's what scares me. And then Bo Nix is getting better. They can run the ball a little bit. I don't think this Raiders defense is as good as the Jets. I think the Broncos win a close, ugly one. I'm going to go 19-13.
20-17, we're on the same page, and there's not much more to say. Feels like the wheels are coming off for the Raiders, although maybe this idea of moving on from Devontae Adams makes things less dysfunctional because having him there and not happy, maybe it's better once they move on for the Raiders, so brighter days could be ahead. Cardinals at the 49ers. Cardinals are 1-3, but they're better than that. 49ers are 2-2, but they're better than that. One of them is going to be in a pretty deep hole 5 weeks in. Cardinals are 7-point underdogs at Levi's Field, 49.5, or Levi's Stadium, whatever the hell it is. Levi's something. 49.5 is the over-under, highest of the week. Who do you like?
Well, last week was concerning a little to me with Arizona because I'm with you in that I think they're better than what their record is, but that made me rethink things a little bit last week and how that went down. To be dominated like that by Washington on both sides of the ball. And I think what you said is also true. I think the 49ers are still a really, really good team. I do. They blew that game against the Rams. The Vikings beat them, sure, but they probably should be 3-1. I think the 49ers O-line is as good as it's been in the Shanahan era, where they don't even need tricks. They're literally like, we're going to run right here, screw you, and we're going to get 8 yards and have fun tackling this sledgehammer. So that's where I think they can dominate that way. The Cardinals have no front seven stud or freak, Mike. They have nobody. And in these games, that does matter. And then also what I'll say to this too, and what I've realized with Arizona, they don't have anybody that can separate a receiver. There's nobody that scares you. Marvin Harrison's good, but he's not like going to back the defense off or teams are going to be like, oh no, we got to double him or we're done. That's not going to happen. I like the 49ers 31-20 in this one.
I got 30-21. It's the second time this week I went 30-21 for a final score. And, we're on the same page with all of it. The 49ers have gotten plenty out of Jordan Mason at tailback while Christian McCaffrey's out. Jawan Jennings has been spectacular. Brock Purdy is playing better and better. The defense is good enough. They should be better than 2-2. And I think they're going to start making their inevitable climb to the top of the division, top of the conference. They continue. Once they get McCaffrey back, if and when they get him back, they'll be right in the thick of things in the NFC. Packers at the Rams. Packers favored by 3. Jordan Love, limited in practice on Wednesday, arguably shouldn't have come back the week he did against the Vikings. Rams are still just trying to hold it all together. They got that big win over the 49ers, but then lost to the Bears. They're 1-3. Packers 2-2. You've picked the Packers straight up and against the spread every week this season. I have a feeling you're going to do it again.
Yeah, I am going to do it again. I am. I think the Packers are a good football team. I think Jordan Love gets back on track this week. Yeah, the Vikings are good last week. They, of course, went down and scored, but then Jordan Love made mistakes to not keep them in the game, and then they weren't able to run the ball, and that's their best asset right now, as they can run the ball. The Rams cannot stop the run. That's going to be an issue for them, right? So I think the Packers get back to that as far as running the ball, dominating the line of scrimmage, and I think it'll open up some big play action passes down the field, which the Packers love to do, right? But yeah, the Rams young, not very talented in the secondary, right? Not a lot of blue chippers up front, at least not yet. Stafford always dangerous, I get that, but I don't think he's got enough help around him on the offensive side of the ball for them to pull off any magic, and I think the Packers will be pissed after last week. 30-20 Packers.
Yeah, Packers need this. When they're a high-end contender, I've got them going to the Super Bowl this year, and yeah, do I regret that a little bit now at 2-2? Yes, but it's the time for them to slip it into gear. And the Rams are dangerous because with Stafford, you never know when they can rise up and steal one. I just don't think it's going to be this week. Giants at the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 6.5 with an over-under of 43.5. I've yet to pick the Giants this season, and there's one reason I'm a little nervous about this one. The Giants played on Thursday. The Seahawks played on Monday. And you get short week where, the Seahawks fly back late from Detroit, hard-fought game, a lot of scoring, defense worn out, and the Giants had extra time to recover from the last game. That one makes me a little skittish. I'm going to go ahead and go first on this. I still like the Seahawks, but I'm not going to pick them to cover the 6.5-point spread. I got 24-20. I just worry that the Seahawks might be a little worn out. And the other side of it, Malik Neighbors it feels like he's going to miss this game, even though he's a week removed from a concussion. Usually you see the guy check the box, come back from the concussion right away. It's alarming that it feels like he's not going to be ready for that game, and obviously that changes the Giants' offense.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, if he doesn't play, don't take the Giants. Don't. Now, the Seahawks' offense is damn good. They can do everything. They really can. So I don't see, the Giants' D being able to stop them. I don't. And their defensive line will have to take over, but the Seahawks are better up front than they've been in years past. But, passing game, Geno's on fire. They're getting everybody involved. I love all of that from them right now. The thing that's also scary is the Seahawks D is beat up like we saw. And they're beat up. They're missing big-time players on their front seven. It changes the way they have to play on that side of the ball. It made them play more man-to-man and stuff like that and blitz because they can't stop the run without Leonard Williams or Bryant Murphy or, the first rounder from Texas or Jerome Baker. I mean, they're decimated. Uchenna Nwosu not up there. So now, like, if Neighbors plays, he's going to have some man-to-man opportunities, right? But, I think the Giants will move it on them. But I don't think they're going to be able to move it on them at will because I just don't think they're good enough on that side of the ball. I, like you, I'm taking the Seahawks, but not to cover the spread. 27-21 Seahawks.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. By the way, we both like the Seahawks, both like the Giants to cover. When we come back, primetime games, including rematch of a 3-time Super Bowl encounter between the Cowboys and the Steelers. That's next on PFTPM and Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
All right, Sunday Night Football.
Week 5 picks pod delivered by Little Caesars Pizza.
Yeah, I'm supposed to say that there. I didn't say it. You said it.
Yep.
Little Caesars
I got you.
Pizza. Okay, Sunday Night Football. Cowboys-Steelers. Super Bowl. Let's see if you remember the scores, football historian. Super Bowl 10.
21-17.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. We know the Steelers won. Super Bowl 13, what was the score?
35-31 Steelers.
Correct. Super Bowl 30, what was the score?
Hold on. Damn it. I was at this game. Hold on. And I'm choking like hold on a second here. Gosh, I know this one. I'm really choking here. The Cowboys won, 27-17?
Bingo!
Bam.
Did you have that fed to you?
Never.
Was that fed?
Never.
All right.
Never. Hey, just say it.
Okay.
Say, damn, you might be a historian. Just say it for me one time.
That was good. You might be. You might be.
Okay, thank you.
You might be a lot of things.
Yes, that's true too.
You're definitely a Sasquatch on PFT Live, Monday edition, the Chris Sims Sasquatch. Although for people watching on Friday,
yeah,
we air the Picks Pod on the back end of an hour with Rodney Harris.
There you go.
Although they didn't play it last week on Sky Sports, so
Why?
I got a shitload of emails. I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. Maybe because we cursed too much in the Picks Pod.
They said the hell with that.
They don't want to go through and scrub them all out. Okay, although I think we scrub them out in advance. I think that's what Kristen gets to do, or whoever gets the task of taking the swears out. And there have been a few today. Let's get to it. Cowboys, Steelers. Now, Steelers are 3-1. Cowboys 2-2. Cowboys a little extra rest. Cowboys no Micah Parsons, no DeMarcus Lawrence. Steelers, Justin Fields, they lost, still scored 24 points. 24 points usually should be enough for the Steelers to win. And this one has an extra wrinkle. I talked about this earlier today on PFT Live.
Oh, what is it?
When Mike Zimmer talked to Mark Craig of the Minneapolis Star-Tribune before the season started.
Right.
And he aired grievances about anyone and everyone. The
Even
players
you?
got me
Did
fired.
he tell everybody how much of an asshole you are? Oh, okay.
No,
and he didn't do it
I've
to
got
everyone.
those right here.
Okay.
Those are exclusive to my phone.
Okay.
But he didn't say a word about Kirk Cousins. And it doesn't take a genius to know there was something off there between him and Cousins. But he didn't say anything about Cousins because he faces Cousins week 9. However, he wasn't thinking deep enough because he crapped on the former GM Rick Spielman for drafting Kellen Mond and for wanting to trade up and get Justin Fields in 2021. And Justin Fields hasn't done anything. That's what Zimmer said. And Justin Fields gets to do something to Zimmer on Sunday night. That adds a little next level spice to this one for me. Because I guarantee you, Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith and the coaching staff, they're going to be telling Justin Fields, hey, Zimmer, you haven't done anything in the NFL. Here's your chance to go do something. Tell him
for sure. You're right.
So that's all the more reason. Look, you take away Parsons and Lawrence. The Cowboys' offense hasn't been as good as it needs to be. The Steelers are at home. And Fields feels that, it's getting a little bit closer to the time when Wilson's ready. And Mike Tomlin finally acknowledged if they keep playing well with Fields, maybe they will keep rolling with Fields.
Yeah.
This is his chance. This is his time. This is his moment. And this is my score. 28-24 Steelers over the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this game boils down to one thing. Like, do we think the Cowboys are going to be able to move the ball consistently on this Pittsburgh defense? That to me is really what it is. And I know Pittsburgh's defense is good. I got that. But the other thing is Pittsburgh's defense, it hasn't exactly played the greatest offenses in the world. It's the Chargers. It's the Broncos, who we've talked about. It was Kirk Cousins in his first action there. So I'm like, I know they're good, but how good? And the Cowboys' offense, like, I know it's not special. I get that. But I do wonder if they're going to move the ball maybe more than I expect them to in this football game. I think that's the only thing that scares me a little bit. But ultimately, I am favoring Pittsburgh. I don't envision them letting CeeDee Lamb go off, right? I think that'll be priority number one. I don't think Dallas runs the ball enough, and then we'd have no Brandon Cooks this week either, right? So there's not another guy over there. And with, like you said, the defensive ends being hurt, it's a Dallas defense that's not good in the middle or at linebacker anyways. I think Pittsburgh will be able to run the ball enough. And when you play Dallas, you'll get some one-on-one shots down the field. You will. And Pittsburgh likes that. They like, hey, Pickens is one-on-one. Let's throw him a comeback. Let's throw him a go route. Let's just go to him, and let's not make it all complicated. It's just he's better than that guy. And if he's opposite of Stefon Diggs, he'll be better than whoever is over there all the time. Fields has been playing good. I'm going Steelers, obviously, 24-17.
It is a big concern when you don't really have a number two to CeeDee Lamb. And Brandon Cooks, injured or not, he had one catch in their last game.
Right.
So they should be interested in Devontae Adams. They're not. They probably don't want to pay him and don't want to give up the draft picks to get him.
Right.
But they need a compliment. They need a real compliment to CeeDee Lamb. I see this as kind of like it's 28-17 and there's a late touchdown by the Cowboys. I think the Steelers are going to handle this one. But, we want an exciting game for Sunday Night Football, obviously for NBC and Peacock. All right, Monday Night Football. No simultaneous overlapping doubleheader this week, thank God. It's just the Saints and the Chiefs in New Orleans, site of the next Super Bowl. So for the Chiefs,
it's at Kansas City.
No, it's not. Oh, it is at Kansas City. Why did I think it was at New Orleans? I've been saying all week it's at fucking New Orleans. What's wrong with me?
You're not that smart. It's well documented.
What is wrong with me?
You're not that smart. It's well documented.
I'm serious. I've had it in my head all week that game is in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel differently about it.
Okay. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, go ahead. If you
I'm trying to think of all the. I'm trying to think
of whatever.
I'm trying to think of how many times this week I've talked about that game and said it was in New Orleans.
Right.
I'm very concerned about that.
Yep.
All right.
Well,
anyway, you go ahead and give me the winner. I got to rethink my pick. It's Chiefs 5.5-point favorites at home against the Saints.
Okay. All right. You're picking the Chiefs no matter what, aren't you? Anyways, I mean, you're not? No?
Well, no. I was going to pick the Saints in New Orleans. I was going to pick the Saints to win.
Yeah.
And now I got to rethink it.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, it is in Kansas City, right? The Saints D is good. It is. I'm not a believer in that defense. Right? They've had one bad outing this year, and it was the Eagles, and they didn't let up a lot of points, but Kansas City doesn't have the Eagles' firepower. They don't have that offensive line. They don't have that. So I think in a lot of ways, the Saints' defense matches up good with Kansas City. They can play man-to-man. They can play zone. They're physical up front. I don't think the Chiefs, like I said, will be able to run the ball. And without Rashee Rice, I do worry about them getting open consistently in the passing game. Right? I don't think they have enough there in the passing game to expose a team like the Saints defense. All right? The Chiefs, right, also have to be careful a little bit here of overplaying the Saints run game on the other side of the ball. I think that's another big aspect of this. Again, I'm not just because they lost us last week. They outplayed the Falcons. I'm not off the bandwagon of the Saints and what they do. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on the Chiefs, and they'll be able to run it enough to where we know the Chiefs will take some chances and go all out to stop it and leave their corners on an island or do something aggressive, and this ain't the team you want to do it with Rashid Shaheed and Olave. I'm going Saints 27-20 to pull off the upset on the road against Kansas City.
So you were trying to rope-a-dope me.
Well,
into
yeah,
taking
I
the
mean,
Chiefs.
gosh,
Oh,
I
of course you're
mean,
taking the
yeah,
Chiefs,
I mean,
aren't you?
you're so freaking dumb. You're gonna pick the game. You don't even know where it is, and I thought this was a game that you would pick the Chiefs because they're at home and all that. And now you got to hear my explanation, and you're gonna jump on the bandwagon with me. So it's really, we're putting this asterisk next to this game, no matter what now.
When I thought the game was to be played in New Orleans, I believed the Saints would win 24-23. I am changing it, though, now that I know it's in Kansas City.
All right.
I don't
Okay.
like the Chiefs to cover.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have been playing with their food
Right.
or the kid who doesn't study for the test and still barely gets an A. I'll go 24-20 Chiefs in this one. Gut feeling. They haven't done anything to replace Rashee Rice so far. And I think the Saints can keep it close. And Derek Carr's got a history of playing in Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
So he can at least impart something to his teammates. Don't get freaked out about it and maybe be calm in the eye of the storm. But that Chiefs defense is too good to get burned by the Saints offense. And man, they're going to go from 2-0 to 2-3, and that's a problem. And that's why I believe they would win at home.
Right.
They need this one. But
They do.
I think the Chiefs pull it off. Although I don't feel 100% confident. I never feel 100%
I'm shocked
confident.
at the
I don't feel
5.5
70%
points.
confident.
I'm shocked by that. That was one of those where I looked at it and I was like, 5.5 points. Wow. For a team that squeaks by 3 every team they play, and this is a tough matchup, I thought that was kind of a shocker to me.
I never know whether that's Vegas trying to dupe people into
right.
taking the Saints or whether it's a reflection of the betting trends or what. Who
Right.
knows?
Right.
But bottom line, it seems like a little much. That doesn't mean I'm taking the Saints as a best bet to cover. We're going to take a break. We'll do our best bets, whatever they may be, when PFTPM and Chris Sims Unbuttoned continue right after this. Welcome back to the PFTPM Chris Sims Unbuttoned Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza.
Okay, we disagree on 3 straight up, 2 against the spread. Best bets time. Christopher, you're up.
Well, I mean, I did think about Packers, and I did think about Jets. I will say that, but I don't trust them enough here. First one I'm going to go with, and I haven't done this all year, but I'm going with the over in the Ravens-Bengals game. I think that's going to be a high-scoring affair. The 49-point total is too much. I have a total of, 62 points, and I think it goes over.
I have decided this week that my approach is going to be fade dysfunction. If you're a dysfunctional team currently, you are a team that I am going to pick against in my best bets. And for my first installment, I'm going to go with the Patriots giving 1 to the Dolphins, who are a hot mess right now.
Wow. Okay. All right. I see you there. All right. I like that one. That's interesting there. I see where your head's at. All right. My next one here, I'm going with the 49ers. I am. 49ers, I think, is a big game. Yeah, they're back to 2-2. They got to continue the positive momentum. I think they'll run the ball at will against Arizona. I do. Brock Purdy's been awesome, and I don't like what I'm seeing from Arizona's offensive receiver.
Bears giving 4 to the hot mess that is the Carolina Panthers as the fading dysfunction tour continues.
Wow, I like this. Wow, I like your angle this week. I'm going with the Saints. Okay, I'm picking them to beat the Chiefs. 5.5 is too much anyways. I feel very comfortable about that. I'm going Saints.
I'm tempted to take the Colts getting 3 against the Jaguars, but you never know if they're going to get their shit together. So I'll fade the dysfunction in Las Vegas. Broncos at home giving 2.5 to the Raiders.
Okay.
So those are mine.
Wow. All right. Who are you going with dead in the gutter?
49ers.
Yeah.
Giving 7 to the Cardinals.
I am too.
And not that we do it against the spread, but the one team that we would take straight up if we were dying in a gutter, and we are dead in the gutter multiple times this year. We both like the 49ers this year.
I do too. Last week was the first week I survived and got out of the gutter, so I'm happy to be there.
Right. We'll try to stay out of the gutter. Enjoy the games this
Screw
week.
you.
See you next time.
See you later. Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.